Two drivers come forward after a young maritime man is struck and killed on a Nova Scotia highway.
From Global Maritimes, News Final with Jacqueline Foster.
Good evening. Two drivers have contacted police in Nova Scotia to say they may have struck a pedestrian on a busy highway early yesterday morning. Police have ruled out one of the drivers, but they're still checking a pickup truck, and they think there's another driver somewhere who was involved in the hit and run. Global's Michelle Mishler has this update.
Just hours after reports that two vehicles may have left the scene after hitting the body of 20-year-old Gilbert Phillips, two drivers contacted police.
I think that they wanted to do what was right. Like I said, we don't know the details, but at least it's a start. You know, it's a start to finding out what happened.
The RCMP have spent the day trying to work out if the two men who contacted them were involved. One drives a transport truck, the other a pickup. The 18-wheeler and pickup truck were brought to RCMP to be examined. The 18-wheeler has since been released. It was not involved in the accident, but RCMP are still calling the pickup truck a vehicle of interest.
The RCMP, of course, are still investigating, and there's also a possibility that there might yet still be another vehicle out there who struck the individual or who may have struck the individual after he was down.
Gilbert Phillips regularly hitchhiked between his home in Millbrook and his father's home in Indian Brook. His family believe he had just been dropped off on Highway 102 and was walking home early yesterday when he was struck.
That maybe they didn't realize that they hit him, or, I mean, we don't know exactly what happened. They're the only ones that know, and you can't pass judgment on, especially when you don't know.
Phillips' family says they don't hold a grudge against the drivers.
I know deep down inside that it was an accident, and Gib wouldn't want to go through charges and vengeance and stuff. He wasn't like that. He just, that's how Gib was.
Garrett Glode was a childhood friend of Gilbert Phillips.
It's hard, you know, we didn't expect it. Especially, you know, he's so young and he was such a good person. You don't expect it to happen, you know, especially a good person like Gib.
A funeral service will be held on Saturday at Sacred Heart Church in Millbrook. For Global News in Millbrook, I'm Michelle Mishler reporting.
And an update tonight on another hit and run in Halifax that put two people in hospital with serious injuries. Police have now recovered the car that caused that crash. The red Plymouth Breeze was found in Hackett's Cove. It had been stolen in Clayton Park Friday night. Police say that car broadsided another car late Sunday night on North Street after it ran a stop sign. Two people in the back seat of the other vehicle were taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries, a 20-year-old woman and a 21-year-old man. Tonight, the young woman's condition has improved, but the young man is still battling for his life. Well, some good news for the Princess of Acadia tonight. The federal and Nova Scotia governments are ready to invest millions of dollars to help the troubled ferry link between St. John and Digby. The feds are willing to commit $4 million over 2 years. Nova Scotia is set to spend $2 million over the same time. Nova Scotia Premier Rodney MacDonald says losing the service would mean a $20 million loss to the economy each year and at least 100 jobs. The money being offered up would be used for every aspect of the ferry service.
But the money will be going towards such things as increasing the amount of business that we see on the run at the current time, everything from marketing to improvements in the asset. So we'll be contributing along with our other partners.
The last scheduled run between Digby and St. John is October 31st. It would end a century-old service across the Bay of Fundy. As for what role the New Brunswick government will play, it's too early to say. A decision on any funding for the ferry won't be made until after the province's new Liberal government is formed. That will happen next week.
We certainly need to know that. We certainly need to know that our money's being well looked after, the taxpayers' money is of New Brunswick, and we certainly just don't hand money over. We will do due diligence on this file and ensure that this service is properly managed and that the money's well spent.
Jameson says his government will also take a look at the offers made by Nova Scotia and the federal government before making a final decision. Police and mining engineers say it's one of the craziest crimes they've ever heard of, and it's dangerous too. Someone snuck into an old coal mine and hauled out hundreds of meters of copper wire. A police dog tracked a suspect to a home in Cape Breton. And when other officers got there, they found another surprise waiting for them. Global's Russ White has the exclusive details.
A truckload of copper wire worth $10,000 heads back to where police say it was stolen from, a disused coal mine. Police have arrested a father and son they accuse of stockpiling the wire in this garage in Point Coney.
The information I obtained is that they're actually going underground and cutting this wire out.
Police say the men stole the wire from the old Prince mine, which shut down 5 years ago. A tip-off sent a canine unit to the defunct mine, and the dog tracked one man back to this house. Mining engineer Steve Farrell worked on the Prince Mine project. He says if the police are right, the thieves are taking a terrible risk.
It wouldn't be advised at all because of the gases, the roof supports, plus you don't know what walking conditions are like. There could be holes, slipping, tripping hazards. It could be very dangerous.
This morning, police and an official from Pioneer Coal, which plans a strip mine at the old mine site, retrieved the wire. And there was a bonus for police. While they were recovering the wire, they stumbled on a marijuana grow-op.
Right alongside the barn, there was a field with 25 plants. Inside the barn, there was a drying area, another area that the person sat and cut it up and did what he had to do with it.
Sergeant O'Rourke says the street value of the drugs is at least $15,000.
Of all the grows that I've been in, this has to be one of the, I'd say, the most advanced plants I've seen as far as product and how much you'd actually yield from each plant.
Two men will be in court later to face charges arising from this incident. They include theft and possession of stolen goods in relation to the incident here at the former coal mine. And they also face charges of cultivation of marijuana and possession for the purpose of trafficking. For Global News in Point Coney, this is Russ White reporting.
A decision on power rates for large industrial users will be announced by the Nova Scotia Utility and Review Board tomorrow. Stora Enso is looking for a cheaper power rate to help control costs. It wants a 15% reduction on its electricity bill. Now that bill tops out around $100 million every year. Nova Scotia Power has said that a reduction of that magnitude would fall on the backs of customers. Good news tonight for more than 100 CanJet employees laid off earlier this month. The airline plans to rehire some pilots and flight attendants. It's launching its charter operation. It will start off flying 6 jets and combine operations with its executive charter service. The company has landed a contract with SunQuest for 6 flights a week. It expects more contracts to follow soon. CanJet axed nearly 500 workers when it canceled scheduled flights at the beginning of September.
With the contracts that we're now signing up and expect to in the next number of days, we're hoping to hire back over 100 pilots and flight attendants over the next month or two. And as the business increases, hopefully the rest of them that we had to let go.
Rowe says if the demand is there, the airline may also provide some scheduled flights in the near future, but it will only make up a small part of CanJet's business. Well, the Canadian Air Force is pulling a piece of equipment from service. It comes after the fatal crash of a Cormorant helicopter off the coast of Nova Scotia in July. Investigators won't say whether the flotation suit worn by one of the 3 crew members killed played any role in his death, but replacement equipment is already on its way. Global's Stacey Bailey reports.
Cormorant number 914 was on a routine training mission the night it crashed into the Atlantic off the coast of Canso. 4 men survived, 3 died.
The crash of 914 certainly brought a lot of attention to all pieces of equipment that are being used. Each one is being investigated and looked at.
But the military's already made a decision about this piece of equipment, the Mustang floater suit, worn by the 2 search and rescue technicians on board the Cormorant. One survived. He was thrown forward on impact. The other, Master Corporal Kirk Knoll, was found submerged in the rear section of the helicopter.
I personally wouldn't wear it, or I would want to wear something like this.
Peter Gibbs is the lead instructor at the private facility where all Canadian pilots and crew learn how to escape an overturned helicopter in the water. Gibbs says the floater suit allows water to rush in, exposing the person wearing it to cold shock.
Any water below 15 degrees Celsius, you'll gasp within about 9 seconds of being underwater, whether you can control it or not. you will just go, and that's it. You'll take in water, all right? And obviously that is another step to drowning.
SAR-techs are required to wear dry suits like this one for all rescues at sea. But during training, SAR-techs have been allowed to wear floater suits. This military memo puts an end to that. It says the use of Mustang floater suits is no longer supported by this command. The Air Force won't say what role, if any, the suit might have played in the death of Master Corporal Kirk Knoll. It says the change in policy has more to do with matching training to real-life rescues.
What we don't want to do is be training to use a piece of equipment that when it comes down to the dark and stormy night where things count, that you're not doing things the same way as you've been doing it in training.
The floater suits will be replaced with a second dry suit for every SAR-tech. The Air Force couldn't say how long that might take or how much it will cost. For Global News in Halifax, this is Stacey Bailey reporting.
Global meteorologist Cindy Day is up next, and there's a warning for gardeners in her forecast. Also ahead, tragedy strikes another school in Colorado. A gunman is dead and one hostage shot.